from my experience and from what I've seen, the whole coronavirus pandemic, as it is overblown and possibly intentionally was magnified. Now, here are just a couple of things from the outset. Why didn't most nations restrict travel to and from China? It was pretty obvious, and this is a typical thing that happens. It's the same old rodeo. Something happens in some Eastern Asian nation, usually China, and then it spreads everywhere else. Why weren't there protocols in place? And then we have to think about people not, or really nations not putting out general warnings and, just general guidelines for personal care as early as January. They could have said, folks, put on the masks, wash your hands, make sure you're staying healthy, take your vitamin C tablets, whatever. And it's very funny how they didn't really bother to hop on this. And it's strange how they said that those quote-unquote masks were not effective. And I'm just like, well, really, you get particulates away from, you keep particulates from going out into the open air, and then you keep a percentage of particulates from being breathed in. So, no, I think it's quite beneficial and effective. And then the Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan. Why didn't they, separate those who are already symptomatic and then take the asymptomatic folks into a separate area, but keep them all quarantined instead of keeping them all in the same boat? And then the amount of infected rose and rose and rose. It was going to happen anyway, And what's very odd is that this is happening kind of during the whole, the Hong Kong protests, and in the continuing Yellow Vest protests. I kind of felt like it's there to kind of curtail the more rebellious spirit of people. Because imagine if people would have kept rioting all the way until summer. Things get hot in summer, figuratively and physically. What would have happened? We could have had riots across the globe. I really do think that's one of the major things. And the virus itself. Now, from what I can tell, it's essentially an aggressive flu. Colds and flus, they can turn into pneumonia. The only thing that really concerns me is the alleged lung damage. Even if you're a younger person, you have it, and you may have a mild case. That's what we've heard. I wait for stuff that's more definitive. But if we're going to compare the 2018-2019 flu season, which is about 6 months, there was 61,200 deaths worldwide. COVID, at least as far as was late March, March 25th, it's 22,180 deaths. Now, I'm calling it here. I think by May, we're probably not even going to pass 40K. And I'm just being real here. And you have to think, it could have, once again, these numbers could have been significantly smaller if, China didn't lie, if, nations across the globe didn't drop the ball, and the World Health Organization didn't cover for them. And I think it really is, more than anything, created by media hype, and I think it's part of the larger control scheme. I think this is more of a fear-based compliance test. It's kind of like the whole 9/11 thing. So now we're trying to see how well people follow orders. There's lockdowns in major cities. Then we have Russia trying to limit access to cash for citizens, which is a part of that larger agenda, control all the cash electronically. And the whole Trump Bucks stimulus plan. The whole everyone's getting $1,200. You got Yang's 1,000, the 1,200, giving the proles cash to placate them. It's part of a greater meme that's been pushed. But folks, don't believe the hype. Wash your hands, take your vitamin C, cover your coughs, but don't let the program get to you.